What we did today was we welcomed a number of companies interested in bidding on the construction management and event architect portions of the RFP that we issued last week. What we're looking for the team to do is help us with all the nuts and bolts of what we'll need to do here in the arena in terms of outfitting the suites for media use, removing seats, any other electrical upgrades, really the nuts and bolts of what we need for the convention.
How much of a vision do you have so far of what we're all going to see a year from now?
We're really still in the very early planning stages, still gathering some of our requirements for what we need to do, and still thinking about the big questions about how we're going to orient the things in here. So we don't yet have some specifics in terms of planning, in terms of what it's going to look like in here next year.
Doesn't that make it difficult, though, for a contractor to put in a bid? You know what I mean?
What we know is the requirements of what we'll be able to do here next year. What we're hiring a construction manager and an event architect to do is to help walk us through what are the technical requirements that we need in order to put our lights, stage, sound, put in the media studios, upgrade the power, all of those things. We're asking this company to help walk us through that process so we can determine our requirements to make this a great convention venue.
Have you all worked out the whole, sticky wicket of union versus non-union kinds of things that's been affiliated with this?
We are looking to maximize our use of union labor in addition to maximizing our use of local resources, locally owned companies, minority-owned companies, women-owned companies as well.
Is there a target number for MWBEs then?
We don't have specific targets. I think targets would imply a stopping point, but in all those cases, we're looking to maximize our use of each of those.
Do you have a rough estimate of how many jobs will be, even though they're just temporary, how many jobs will be kind of used for both bids, kind of setting it up and doing all the setup and architecture of this?
We don't have a specific estimate for the number of jobs. It's a multi-million-dollar contract. It's a big job. Part of, again, what this company is going to help us do is walk us through the requirements process, help us figure out what we need to do in order to modify this arena, and then we'll go about hiring the people to do it.
And these are not permanent changes to this building, are they?
That's correct. This project is a temporary modification of the arena. Everything we do to the arena, we need to undo and hand it back to the city in the condition in which we found it.
The bids close, I think, September 30th, is that correct?
The deadline for bidding is next Friday, September 30th at 5 o'clock.
And when do you anticipate announcing who gets the bids?
Once we receive the proposals, we'll spend some time evaluating them, interviewing some finalists, and look to make a selection by mid to late October.
And the RFP application's online?
The application is available. The RFP is available at demconvention.com. Anyone can go there and download it and decide whether they'd like to bid.
I counted about 30 people here today. Do you have any rough idea or how many people will roughly apply, and you'll have to whittle down to those finalists?
We don't yet have a sense of a specific number of firms that are going to bid, but we've seen some great interest from a number of firms, both locally and from across the country. So we don't know, but we expect a very competitive bid process. We expect to see some great bids.
Are these folks all local today, or are these folks all local today, or some of them from out of town?
It's a mix of local and national folks here today.
Do you feel any added pressure to have a local person, considering Charlotte and it's going to be in Charlotte?
Absolutely. One of our priorities, as I said before, is to maximize the use of local resources, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and union labor.
Considering that Charlotte's never had a convention of this type before, what kind of a unique opportunity is this for whoever will get the bid and such a unique project to have this next year?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for any construction company. This is a high-profile event. It's an exciting opportunity, so we really would encourage anyone to bid who's interested.
What's the timeline for construction? Assuming there's an NBA season, there's concerts throughout the year, I imagine a lot of work can't go on until a certain point. What's the timeline?
Well, according to our agreement with the city, we take over the building on July 14th, 2012. So part of what we're asking this team to do is develop a schedule that allows us to start that work on July 14th, 2012, finish it up before the convention, and then take it all back out after the convention's finished before we have to turn the building back over in late September.
Like other construction projects, will there be incentives in terms of bonuses or penalties for finishing early, or if you get late, you end up being assessed something at all?
The contractual requirements will be subject to negotiation. A lot of them are laid out in the RFP document.